Hi.
Hello, and welcome back to the next edition of Heal Moment to Heal. I have Emery Gray with me, my little baby. You want to say hi?
Hi.
She's my baby, my little Emmy. She just want to be on camera, y'all. She is out of school for spring break, and it's bring your daughter to work day every day this week. So here we are. But today, I'm going live. Well, so I will actually be hosting these master classes for 7 days, not 7 days straight. So it'll be today, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. One on this coming Friday. So that is March the 28th, I believe. And then the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd. So 7 master classes. This one is free and available to everybody who is on any social media account and tuned into my personal accounts. So I'm going live this Monday, today, and next Monday on the 31st to deliver these live streams. So let me tell y'all. So today, we're going to be covering Emotional Hoarders Anonymous. This is one of my favorite master classes. It's one of my favorite things to talk to people about. It was one of those things that I was a huge fan of keeping score. I really did think that it was going to help me to improve my relationships and to get people in my life to do the things that I wanted them to do. And so I did a whole lot of that. It did negatively impact my healing, slow it down, etc. And that is what I want to talk to y'all about today: how to avoid doing that, what you need to know in order to avoid doing that. And then, so what do we have coming up? So we got Emotional Hoarders Anonymous. That's today. Tomorrow we have Press Pause, the 90-second snap prevention plan, right? So this is so that you can catch yourself before you get taken over by however you will react automatically. The third one is take the wheel. So stop begging your nervous system for permission to relax. It helps you to master your body's stress response. On Friday, we have emotional cleanup on IOU. And so this has everything to do with damage control, meltdown, like stopping the destructive words from slipping out, right? The stuff that comes out of your mouth that you like, ooh, I didn't really necessarily mean to say that. And then next Monday, so that's on the 31st, we have the What If Whisperer, which I actually, when I put out a reel about this last week, so it was like 5 days ago or so, got quite a few folks who were interested in the free guide. Anybody who's interested in that, in that today, you can just drop a question mark in the chat and I'll shoot it to you. But what it helps you to do is to figure out, okay, Emery,
Yeah.
go over there. Go take your notes over in that seat,
Okay.
please. Thank you. So the What If Whisperer is pretty much the antithesis to, sitting down and going over and over in your mind about what if the worst thing happens, and it helps you to reverse the overthinking. So that's coming up next Monday. So y'all want to be tuned in for that. They will all be occurring at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The trainings, the master classes that are on my personal accounts will stay there. So no worries about that. They'll at least be there for 30 days, right? Says Facebook. And I don't even know about TikTok. I haven't been able to find a single other live video on TikTok. So we'll see about that. But they'll be available to people. I'll have the recordings for folks who engage in one of the other programs. So before we get into the content today, which again, so we have 2 master classes after that. There's the brain buffer and bypass, which helps you to make clearer decisions, right? It's the clarity, pretty much IV, right? And then the 7th one that'll go down next week. As the final one is the drama detox. And so those are the 7. Today we're going to get, like I said, into Emotional Hoarders Anonymous, which helps you to stop keeping score in your relationships, and let go of resentment. And so we're going to get into that. But what I did want to let you guys know is that this masterclass is free. The one on Monday is also free. If you are interested in any of the other titles, if you can't remember and can't find this live video to replay, or to rewind or whatever, you can shoot me a message and find out more information about it. But for now, the way that I'm just going to pull this up real quick so I can read right off of it. So the way that it is set up right now, for March Madness is what I'm calling this whole 7 masterclass event. Each of these masterclasses, if you just purchase one of them, one of the ones that are paid, so one of the 5 that are paid, you will get access to the recordings for the 2 free classes and, of course, the paid class. And right now, that is $27. The other pass, which is the full 7 classes, so the 2 free ones and then 5 paid, that is $97. And so if you are interested in that, you want to drop a fire emoji in the chat and I'll reach out to you, or you can send me a DM. That's probably the best way, because almost everybody got their privacy settings on like do not contact. So just DM me a fire emoji and I will get you out the link so that you can participate in other classes. We'll review those again, but I do want to get into the content for today. So Emotional Hoarders Anonymous is what we're going to cover today. I do want to start off with an introduction of myself. So my name is Javon Gray, and I help women in business, women in their professional careers. I have helped men as well, but escape the anxiety matrix. So the loops that keep you reactive, the ones that keep you overthinking, the ones that keep you feeling overwhelmed and unable to enjoy the life that you're building. And what I want to get into today is about how do we stop keeping score and start healing. So this class is about breaking the habit of emotional scorekeeping, right? So I don't know anybody who doesn't do this, right? Like whether they are conscious of it or not, but it looks like, it feels like holding on to every wrong, every comment, every betrayal. What's up, boo? Go ahead.
I love you.
I love you too. We just wanted to get back on camera, y'all. But every wrong, every comment, every betrayal or disappointment that your partner or your loved one or your cousin or your, coworker ever did, right? And this is it goes deeper than just being like, oh yeah, no, it's cool, because it's not cool if it comes up a year later, if it comes up 6 months later, if they do one thing and you remember the other thing that they did, right? This thing that you said was cool back in the day. Sorry about that. And so it introduces the concept of emotional hoarding and how it quietly poisons our connections, how it builds resentment, and how it reinforces our stress responses. So I'm going to guide you all through letting go, and not just for the sake of forgiveness, but in order to free yourself from the anxiety loop, right? The one that, like I said, is filled with reactivity, withdrawal, and blame. So by the end of this class, you should be able to identify the emotional receipts that you've been collecting, right? Your own personal emotional receipts. You'll be able to understand why holding on to past wrongs keeps you stuck in stress and defensiveness. Hold on, let me make sure people is with us over on Instagram. Ain't nobody with us over on Instagram. Nope. Instagram is unresponsive. Instagram, you might be left out in the cold for today. There we go. Instagram is left in the cold today. This is the only one. So emotional hoarders anonymous. I'm gonna give you one more shot, Instagram. And then we're gonna get back into it. Good. So we should be back and we should be good in a minute. All right. So by the end of this class, you'll be able to identify the emotional receipts that you've been collecting. You'll understand why holding on to your past wrongs keep on to other people's past wrongs and yourself. I could definitely see how my own past wrongs, how I've held them against myself, but how it keeps you stuck in stress and defensiveness. And you'll learn how to let go without self-abandonment, right? So like, I feel like that's one of the main things that keeps people from letting go is that they feel like, well, if I do let go, you're going to walk all over me. Or if I don't remember exactly what you did and hold you accountable for it, that you'll keep doing it again and then I'll be looking crazy or I'll hurt more. And then you'll also be able to experience a tangible mindset shift that clears space for emotional freedom and deeper connection. And so those are my goals for you in this class today. So here's the truth. You're not just tired from life. You are tired from years and years and years of carrying emotional receipts that you never meant to keep. So emotional hoarding is the invisible weight, right? So you don't realize that you've been holding on to the thing until something that's adjacent comes up, or unless you are just in the middle of, or you finally get a break. You finally get a chance to breathe and it comes back up, right? So this feels like you sitting on a couch. Life is going on around you. You haven't necessarily noticed that anything has changed. You don't necessarily feel like anything is going wrong, but you are having some sort of extreme emotion, right? So like, especially like the classic one is you crying for reasons that you're not aware of, right? Hold on one second. I gotta make sure. All right, cool. So when you have those things going on in the background of your mind, most of the time, in order to keep them where they are, you have to be suppressing them. So if you got anger, if you got resentment, if you have shame about a situation or towards a person, a person, place, thing, whatever, and it is inside of you, you are doing the work to keep it there. This is something that once you see how it plays out, once you start to release the things that you can prove to yourself is true. So like, this is what I'll say this up front. I don't want you to just take anything that I say as truth or, whatever. Do it yourself, right? Practice this thing and then prove it to yourself or prove me wrong, right? Try it out. But once you start to let these things go, you get to the point where you see how much more energy you have. And the more you do practice letting go, the more that you are able to function on the higher end of your energy level, then you'll get to see exactly how much emotional weight you're carrying. Okay. So this is not about blaming yourself. It's about releasing patterns that don't serve the connection that you crave. So you want to be closer. You want to stay married to your husband for, the next 50 years. You want to, finally move in with your girlfriend, whatever the case may be. You want to be closer to your person, right? Whoever this person is. And you think that if you institute these like practices or rules, these boundaries, so to speak, right? These things that people will encourage you to do, to create and enforce in order to like protect yourself. But you want to be closer, right? You want to be closer to people. If you want that, then you cannot keep a steady track of everything. You can stay with somebody for years and for decades and not be close to them, right? The more that you are holding on to in terms of what somebody did in the past, how you view them based on your past experiences, the farther you are away from them every single moment in the present time. Right? So even if y'all still hugging, even if y'all still talking, even if y'all are, whatever, doing whatever y'all do, whatever you think it means that y'all are going to stay together. This is why people will wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And like all of a sudden you single, right? All of a sudden you're abandoned or whatever, is because you can be doing all these things and going through the motions and still not be close to the person. And what I am here to posit today is a theory that the main cause of this is this emotional hoarding that many of us participate in, where we collect the receipts of everything everyone has ever done to us. We store them, we keep them tight, we make sure that we always remember them so that we will never be hurt again in that way. And it keeps us from actually connecting with people in a real way. So, you've done the work. You read the books. You have listened to the podcasts. You've gone on the vacations and retreats, but you're still snappy. You're still resentful, or you're shut down in the relationships that matters the most, right? Like the massages ain't cutting it. The, hair appointments and nail appointments aren't getting you to that space where you have improved your connection with folks. And people talk a lot about, emotional intelligence, communication skills. You don't need more of them. You need less emotional baggage. Okay. And that is what I'm here to make the case for today. What I am sharing with you, though, is a taste of the deep work that we do inside Inner Revolution. So I'm looping that back to, first and foremost, this masterclass, this March Madness event, which, like I said, it consists of 7 masterclasses. 2 of them are free. That's the one that you are watching right now. One of which you are watching right now. The next one will be live Monday, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then there are 5 that are paid. Not only is this just the tip of the iceberg, these 7 masterclasses of the inner work, the deeper work that we do inside of Inner Revolution, but it's actually offered to you at a very good price. And if you are interested at all in joining me for the rest of the master classes, then you want to DM me a fire emoji. We are inside of Inner Revolution to stop reacting, to stop overthinking, and to stop carrying pain and emotional baggage that was never ours, right? That is not ours. Can you take that bottle out of here, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's distracting. Okay, so how does emotional hoarding show up? It shows up in replaying old arguments in your head, right? Like how you could have done things better so that, things never escalated, or so that you could have won, or so that you could have actually communicated your point more clearly. So that you could have communicated whatever it is that you wanted to say without hurting your partner, whatever. But you replaying them over and over again. That is a sign of emotional hoarding. Keeping mental tabs on what they do versus what you do. And this was like, let me tell you, I'm talking. This was grade A. This was like legit. I don't know, for probably the first at least 4 or 5 years of my marriage, is where we were in this super heavy. Just like, well, how many things around the house do you do versus how many things outside of the house do you do? When did you, and this was for both of us, when did you last update the furniture around here? Like when did you go shopping for something that was in the house, in order to like refresh it or make it new? How much time are you spending with the kids versus how much time I'm spending with the kids? How much of a break are you taking versus how much of a time, a break am I taking? How often are you leaving the house for social events versus how often I'm leaving the house for social events? That's what that look like. And what are you saying, right? Like, well, I do more than you, or I don't know, you do more than me. You bring less peace in the house than I do, or you are more angry than me, or you got mad first. All of that. Those are mental tabs. Waiting for an apology to feel peace. If somebody has to do something in order for you to move forward in the relationship, then that whole time that it takes them to do something, whatever that thing is, you are absolutely hoarding those emotions. Now, what I will say is that oftentimes it is very much likely that even after they have given you what it is that you want, to be that an apology or a password, or some level of access, or finally opening up to you about whatever other thing, by the time they've given you that, especially if you have this habit of punishing folks, right? Or holding something over folks until they do something, you will very likely still have that imprint. You'll very likely still have that uh, that resentment, or whatever emotion you were feeling, that envy. You'll likely still have that inside of you even after you got your apology. But waiting for an apology is absolutely a sign. Another sign is comparing emotional debts, right? So this looks like, it's similar to keeping mental tabs, but it's like, you hurt me more than I hurt you in whatever way, right? It it looks like self-protection, right? Like all of these things, it seems like if you're replaying the old arguments because you're trying to figure out how you could be better, how you could do better, how you could communicate better. You're keeping the mental tabs on what they did versus what you did because you want to make sure that things are fair, right? Etc. It looks like it's self-protection, but it is really self-sabotage. We hoard pain. We hope that it will protect us, that this sensation, if we remember what it feels like, if we remember this, if we do this, that we will be protected, but it just buries us deeper in the matrix of anxiety. And if there's nothing else that I could get you to understand today, it's that. So I really do hope it was clear, and you need to be in my DMs immediately if you do not understand that part, because that's literally that's most of the battle, but we're gonna get to the rest. So the root cause. So this is a sneak peek into the catalyst phase of inner revolution. So this is the phase where we are recognizing and understanding not what everybody else's patterns are, not what this is most likely to mean. It's nothing about that. This is not comparing yourself to some other chart or something like that. This don't got nothing to do with where to start. Emory Gray?
Yeah.
No. Don't you press another button.
Okay.
Not another one. So this don't have nothing to do with where the stars aligning. It doesn't have anything to do with anything other than what is happening in you, on you, around you right now, and understanding that. So this pattern often starts off as a nervous system survival response, right? So your brain starts to catalog harm, right? Again, in an attempt to avoid it later, because that is what you think, is that if I can put this boundary in place, if I can remember exactly what you did or whatever, then it'll help me to do things better in the future. It will help me to not be hurt or not be as hurt in the future. When it becomes like emotional muscle memory, so to speak, we start living in the past pain instead of the present peace. Meaning, if your partner comes in and slams a door, let's just say you sit at the kitchen table or whatever, and your partner comes in and slams the door. If you feel any kind of way about the door slam, any kind of way, oh, here we go. Oh, is he okay? Oh, if you make any brain activity about that brain activity came from something that happened before in your past. Okay. And you might think, well, I mean, don't everybody think that, right? The door slammed. Don't everybody be like, oh my God, he mad. Or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what did I do? Is he mad about me? Is he mad about work? Is it, he must have had a hard day. Oh, let me warm his bath. Let me, whatever. Right. No. No is the answer to that question. The answer to that question is that everyone has a different response to that. Right. So like exactly what that response is depends only on your past experiences. And you might think, oh, no, but that's benign. It don't got nothing to do with nothing. Just because he comes in and slams the door and I create a thought about it and it changes, it changes my thought pattern for now, that doesn't mean that it'll impact our relationship, because by the time he actually gets all the way in the house or whatever, takes his shoes off or whatever, I'm back to, I'm smiling. I'm ready to engage him anew. That, first and foremost, that don't happen. That's not what happens. Just because you smile don't mean your energy straight. Just because you took a deep breath and tried to reset doesn't mean that you are coming at this person with a clean slate. Right? And if you haven't done the work to unpack, to clear out your emotional closet, if you have not been letting go, you are absolutely not on a clean slate, like literally, period. Okay. And again, the closer you watch yourself and your emotional patterns, the more clearly you'll be able to see this. So that's of course what I would suggest. But then you'll have a situation where you're in a conversation with this person, and a thing that they say or a way that they say it makes you feel a certain type of way. And when you have that, there's nothing wrong. There's somebody in front of you who is saying words. I had a client who we were talking about how when she is communicating with her husband, she just feels like he is coming for her. She feels unsafe. She feels attacked. And the things that he says, she feels like makes her feel like she is not good enough as a wife. Let's just say. That's just me paraphrasing her words, but like she's not good enough as a wife. Okay. So somebody is saying some words to you, and you internalize that to mean that you are not a good wife. Whose fault is that? Right? Who is responsible for that process? I would argue that is in here, that is inside of you. People say things based on their past experiences, and you internalize things and apply meanings to them based on your experiences, and then you respond based on those experiences. None of this stuff is personal. As long as I am in my head and I'm not talking about anything that's going on right now for its complete face value, we are not relating to one another. We are relating to what we are thinking about, right? What I'm made to feel when I see you and you have on this particular clothing, you smell like this particular fragrance, you are saying this particular thing. That is what I'm relating to. That creates very distinct and oftentimes far distance between you and the person that you are trying to connect with. Okay. So, what I want to sort of underline here or highlight is that you can't build connection with someone while you're treating them like a case file. Okay. So, um, the, now I want to get into what is it that you can do, right? So you got this information. You said, okay, I see exactly how this shows up in my life, right? And I see the person who it shows up with. This is, I don't know what to do, right? Like what happens next, right? I see this happen. I feel this thing inside of me. What do I do? And one of the most powerful things that you can do on your own involves you asking yourself, and this is however you want to, whether you want to ask yourself in the moment, whether you want to write some things down, like spend some time getting to know a little bit more about the inner workings of your mind without being under that the time crunch where you got to respond to somebody verbally, or you got to make a decision, or you are driving and you got to maneuver. You can always journal this out. It's not necessary, but you could. But getting down to the bottom of what am I still holding against this person? Whether I've said it out loud or not, what am I holding against this person? The easiest way to walk back and figure out what that is to figure out what it is that you felt, right? So they say this thing or they do this thing and you feel this way. Walk back to what it is that you are holding on, what it is that you're holding against this person that made you feel this way instantly. The second thing that you want to ask yourself is, why haven't I let this go? Right? So what am I afraid will happen if I forgive them? If I behave as if this never happened? Right? What if I didn't remember this at all? Right? Why am I afraid of letting it go? And then you let it go. I say it that way, and I literally started laughing before I even said it, is because when I heard somebody say that to me for the first time, I was like, what? Right? Like that's not helpful. Right? Like if I could let it go, I would. The fact of the matter is that you can, and you absolutely can, and it's very easy. You just don't, right? And what is critical to understand about this is, if you've done the work at level 1 and 2, right, in terms of like figuring out what you're holding against this person and why you are afraid of letting it go, what you think will happen, etc. Once you do the hard work there, if you are comprehensive in steps 1 and 2, when it comes to letting go, you don't have a problem letting go, because you know that you're only holding on to it because of that reason. So that is one of the main ways that I can help you do this, but especially without knowing you. but the other way that I've heard it described very simply was, if you had a hot coal in your hand, you would understand immediately, right? Like nobody would have to like break it down for you, right? The only reason why you're holding on to the hot coal, and this hot coal is, of course, whatever it is that you're holding on to, whatever emotions you are hoarding, the only reason why you're still holding on to it is because you feel like, my hand can hold this and it's keeping me warm. And if I drop it, it's going to fall on my niece or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a whole bunch of brain activity up in here, right? The matrix that is that is supporting you continuing to hold on to this code. That's literally it. So what you need to do is break down, this is what you have to do, is break down that matrix. Understand it more, see yourself more clearly. And then it'll be very easy to recognize that you're holding a hot coal in your hand, that it is in fact burning your hand, and that is why you are have all sorts of issues, right? Like, this is why you can't zip your pants up. This is why you're having trouble tying your shoelaces, because you have one hand holding this hot coal, right? Whatever it is that you want to whatever your other emotional habits are, right? Whatever is the reason why you will be watching this for so long, right? Whatever is the reason that would call you to do emotional work, whatever past trauma you have, that you have a desire not to work through, right? You insert that. That is why you still have that going on, because there is a hot coal in your hand that you do not recognize as such. So the idea is for you to find that hot coal and figure out why you're still holding on to it. What are you telling yourself? So, one of the quotes that I have here is that you don't need to pay off the debt for you to be free. And this is more talking about like emotional debt. Oftentimes we hold on to stuff because we feel like we deserve it. Like, I had a client, I was talking to somebody earlier last week, who was going through a miscarriage. So she had already miscarried, but she didn't know she was pregnant, and she was far along, and she had been not officially trying, but not unofficially trying, and desiring a pregnancy for 10 years with her husband. And so she's like, oh, I had a pregnancy. Didn't know. I found out I had a pregnancy when I found out I lost the pregnancy. And, and what she was saying were things like, like, I deserve this. I'm a monster. I feel like I won't be able to, something about not being deserving of it. So I'm sorry, I don't want to misquote her on it, but it was something that encompassed, I don't deserve this, or I am doing something wrong. I am not the quality of person who deserves to have a pregnancy that I want and have a baby on the end of it. And oftentimes when things happen, I had another client, and especially for whatever reason, when it comes to like miscarriages and abortions, we will get all up in our head about what it's supposed to be, who we are, is, are we being punished by God or the universe? When life is just lifing, right? The same people who can't get ourselves pregnant, we are worried that we have something that we've done has ended our pregnancy. Right? It's a whole lot of us feeling like we have control, but most of the time when we feel like we are the most in control is when we are trying to punish ourselves. And why does that work? Why does that work in our brain? Why is that our go-to? Because we can make ourselves feel bad really easily, right? That's literally the only reason why it works. That's the only reason why it works. We have developed that habit, and when we pull on it easily, I feel negatively about whatever is going on inside of me or whatever has happened outside of me, I can make myself feel bad, and I can blame myself for whatever has happened. So, but you don't need to do that in order to be free. Emery in the background. She's not necessarily focused on this camera because she can't see herself in it. Oh, well, there you go. It's this one that she's more concerned about, but whatever. So you don't need to pay off that debt. You don't need to blame yourself, shame yourself, try to persecute yourself in order to be free of these emotions, right? You can let go of the things and have that freedom, okay? Without raking yourself over coals, or trying to squeeze every single drop of energy out of yourself in order to make something happen. So when you do this, if you will do this, and I hope that you will, right? It is my deepest hope that you will. These are some of the things that you will likely notice. The first is that you stop taking things so seriously and so personally, okay? So that conflict will soften, right? So what do I mean by that? We could go back to the story about the client who was feeling like her husband didn't think that she was doing a good job as a wife, right? This person, right, upon deeper inspection, right, and so this requires compassion, right? This requires for you to take a step back and figure out and knowing, right? Develop a knowing that this is not about you, right? And once you can account for that, once you establish that, then you can actually do the work of seeing what this is actually about, because it's not you. If anybody was in your body and was doing this thing, you know what I'm saying? If anybody was in front of them that they held the same position as you in their life, they will be getting told the same exact message. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not specific to you. So with this client, we wound up kind of dialing back or uncovering some of the things that was going on in her husband's life, in his history, right? Of like, I'm like, I mean, could you even think about like, could you I don't know, I'm losing the words exactly, so I'm gonna just say it however, but like in terms of how he is or what it is that you feel like he wants that you are not able to give in the way that he wants it given, could you see at all why he would say the things that he is saying, right? Be it past experiences, something that went on with his mom, something that went on with a cousin, so you know what I'm saying? Like where does this expectation come from? Why is it that you think that there's all of this pressure being applied to you doing this specific thing from him? And she was like, yeah, like his mother, did do X, Y, or Z thing, and he did feel this way about it, and blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, well, you just imagine you seeing your mother in this way, and then having somebody remind you of your mother, right? And you not being able to distinguish between the two. How would you react, right? The same way that he does. And it's not necessarily the case that you got to do that with every single thing. The best thing that you can do, the only thing you need to do is know that it's not about you. You don't got to figure nobody else's life out. You do not have to go digging deep or trying to dig deep in anybody else's emotional closet. Like, let them keep their stuff. Let them work through their own stuff, right? You cannot work through other people's stuff. But what you can do is develop a higher level of compassion for them, and at least acknowledge. That doesn't mean you gotta stay, oh yeah, well I know exactly why he pulled the gun on me and pushed it into my rib so hard it bruised. I know exactly why he did that, so it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll invite him over again or whatever. Like, you don't have to continue in a relationship because you recognize it. But you can, once you do release this, right, from being a you thing that's all about you, the things that you do, the things that you could have done better, then you stop holding on to it, right? That's all we're trying to do, is get you to a place where you have clarity, a place where you are not filled or not weighed down with so much extra emotion. So not necessarily even extra emotion, but just old shit, right? Just old emotions. So conflict softens, emotional triggers lose power, right? So the things that used to set you off, be it, somebody looking down at your shoes like they are dirty or whatever, or somebody commenting that you look like you're pregnant or whatever it is, that would have otherwise or would have previously triggered some sort of really negative emotion in you, maybe some sort of breakdown, maybe some sort of spiral into self-consciousness or something like that, you'll notice that it has much less power over you. And this can get very extreme, and I'm not going to go into such deep examples on every one of them because we are running out of time, but I will say that you'll be very, very, very surprised.
I'm hungry.
And my baby hungry. You'll be very, very surprised at how things start to roll off of you. You acknowledge them. You know they happen. You don't have to pretend that that person didn't say that thing or that they meant something else in order for you to be okay in the moment. You literally just hear them, and it comes across to you as a person saying a word or a group of words. And you literally move on with your life. The same thing that would have triggered you before and had you all upset. And so that is a possibility. This is how you get there. This is how I got there. This is how multiple clients of mine have gotten there. So the third thing that happens is that you get to a point where you are showing up more clear-headed instead of like supercharged, right? And you're dealing with your children and their reactions, their emotions and their emotional displays, whatever. That clarity is oftentimes what we're seeking. That's what the lack of the clarity keeps us overthinking. It keeps us from making decisions, right? It like sort of prolongs decision making, etc. When you let go of these things, you're not clouded by all these past emotionally charged situations that you're holding on to. It's literally revolutionary. The last thing I'll say about it is that this is the start. This is not the solution. Like legit, once you get to the point where you are letting go, that is the start. This is the jump off point. Okay. This, like I said, this is the start. This is not the solution. This is one small key. Okay. Literally the tip of the iceberg from, if you're looking at it from the east. Like, inner revolution is where you learn to live like this every day. Okay. Peace isn't personality driven. It's not environmentally driven. It's not based on, you doing X, Y, or Z, like techniques or anything like that. It's a practice. It's a practice, and it is always there. It's literally always inside of us. It's just that we have this matrix that we form over it. And so sometimes we'll get glimpses of it, right? Through the cracks. But most of us don't know it. We don't know it, and we definitely don't know it intimately, even though we always have access to it. And inner revolution is about bringing you to the place where you have full access to it. And so I'm going to invite you in. There are upcoming sessions, right? So the next 3 sessions are paid. Like I said, there are a total of 6 sessions left. And I will bring up the one that we're covering next, just as a refresher, for you. So we did Emotional Hoarders Anonymous just now. The next one is Press Pause. It's the 90-second snap prevention plan, and it's a direct, this is how you do a thing. Spontaneous blowups are a sign of a deeper code that's running your reactions, right? And so we learned how to rewrite it or how to rewire. The one following that is take the wheel. So stop begging your nervous system for permission to relax, because if you're waiting for your body to calm down on its own, you are going to be stuck in an autopilot loop. You will never get out of it. Okay. So those are the next 2. If you want access to those, one of the 2, or if you want a full list of each of the master classes that are going down between now and April 2nd. So that's next week, Wednesday. you want to shoot me a fire emoji whenever you are watching this. It's not like I'm gonna be like, give me your credit card. If you want more information, shoot me the fire emoji and I'll give you information.
Yeah.
And invite you to join me inside this masterclass, this March Madness. And then, be careful. I'm going to invite you to join me inside the Masterclass Madness. And then, of course, if you know the Inner Revolution is where you want your next upgrade, where you are looking for ways to improve the way that you experience your life from an emotional standpoint, then DM me the word ready, and we can start talking immediately about how you can join Inner Revolution today. I appreciate your attention. I like legit, I hope that you actually start applying these things. Like I said, if you do not apply them, then you don't know, and you will never know. You will never know. So this is a complete system. So all of the master classes, they come together to form a complete system for unplugging the anxiety matrix. So
bye.
Well, Emery's about to cut us off short, though. I got a couple more things to talk about. So throughout the March Madness, there are certain incentives, right? So like if you stay engaged, you're showing up live, you will be entered into a free annual membership raffle. So there are other prizes and things of that nature, but that annual membership, which right now is valued at over $800, will be raffled off. And inside of Inner Revolution, there's deep emotional rewiring, there's monthly workshops and master classes, and then real-time support to break emotional patterns for good. And so if you want any of that action, like I said, DM me the words ready. And if you want to just join for the master classes and see how the rest of those pan out, then you send me a fire emoji. Or you can drop the word receipts just for today's theme, which is emotional receipts. So I'll know that you came from this one. Hold on a second, boo boo. But I just want to close with this statement, and I'll let y'all go. You're not too sensitive. You're not too emotional. You're just carrying the weight of past emotions, and it brings down your tolerance for everything else. So let's put it down. And we go over exactly how to do that in Inner Revolution. I hope to see y'all there. And if not, I'll see y'all next Monday. Like I said, I'll be free and live 12 p.m. Okay, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully childless is gonna be, she gonna be in daycare or in school. She's gonna be back at school because she's gonna be out of break. But yeah, no, thank you so much for your attention and your consideration.